Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To some of you and peace out to the rest of you. You know who it is, the blackest heart, the blackest mind, the blackest man on social media, signing black in and shining again, asking you to hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. So let me go ahead and put this out here for you. I understand why C Boogie feels the need to point out that ugly men are hard on black women. And O'Shea did an analysis of it. I'll tell you what the real reason is, and that is that black men in general don't really learn from older men what we need to know about how to deal with sisters. Because older men, what are they telling us? They're either saying, don't ever turn down no vagina, which puts too much power in their hands, or they're telling us you need to get out there and be a man and work all them 2 and 3 jobs and take care of that woman, which is okay in a traditional system, but now makes you a mark. So in today's system, what we have now, either anything that they teach you is going to put too much power in the woman's hands. It's going to center your manhood on them. And so since these old niggas, these old fools can't tell us what we really need to know, then in that case, we have to learn from women. What do you learn from women? When you learn the games they play. And you're taught not to be picky and choosy, which is the first thing that we should actually learn from them. But we're taught not to do that. Like I said, old foolish niggas will teach us that. Oh, don't be choosy. It's pussy. Don't ever turn that down. But that's exactly what we need to be doing, because our first mistake and our last mistake is that we are not sexually difficult enough for them, and they are for men. Now, this tends to be the case in many places around the world. However, in more conservative countries, women know that they may not find that guy that's ready to just drop the drawers, not in that day. They know this. One of the reasons they don't go out just trying to get some booty or just going out trying to get some peen in these societies is because they know that there are many men who are just as conservative sexually as they are. So if they offer fornication to a man, even if he has a libido, he still may not want to fornicate. And there's a high chance of her running into that kind of guy. And so then if she does run into that kind of guy and he's like, get out of my face with that mess, guess what's going to happen? She's going to have her reputation ruined because he's going to let people know something's wrong with her. Somebody needs to go talk to her parents so they can have a talk with her. Now, usually violence is not the answer. In many of these conservative societies, the women are not met with violence when they do that. But being rejected, and then the thought of everybody knowing that she propositioned this man, that's enough to stop them. Because it's not a guarantee that she approaches him and he's going to go ahead and let her have it. That's not a guarantee just because he's a dude. They know this. So we men here in our culture have been taught not to be difficult enough when it comes to that. Everything else we've learned from women. Women are difficult. Women have nasty things to say about average men, let alone men that they actually do find to be ugly. So these men learn this is a war. This is hostile. You got to fight back. So they make an effort. They try to get her attention. But then some of these men, because see, we don't just grow up being shot down and rejected. That's not the only thing that happens. See, when we grow up, the rejection has to be accompanied by loud capping and some bragging and some high fives from her friends at your expense. Men go through this. Now, for anybody, man or woman, to go through this at a young age, this is going to teach a harsh lesson. So when I hear about men not being able to tolerate rejection, I do believe that they need to be taught this, definitely. But I do not believe that they just need to be okay with the way that women encourage each other to reject men when they're young, before they're even women. That's not something that we need to teach these guys to be okay with. Because, see, people sympathize if a woman is rejected and her feelings are hurt. Then the only thing she's going to be castigated for is the fact that she made the approach. Oh, girl, you're beautiful. You shouldn't have to approach nobody. That's your mistake right there. That's the only castigation she'll get. Other than that, she's going to get sympathy. People are going to feel bad for her. They're going to sympathize with her. They're going to comfort her. Talk about what kind of man this dude is not, and he gay. That's definitely going to come out. So men learn, because this is such a harsh game, and we are not the ones that made it this harsh. We learn to play it harshly. We are more shocked. As we learn the game in our young age, we are actually more shocked than many of the women are. The only issue is that we're not supposed to be. We're more shocked, but we're not supposed to be more shocked. We're supposed to be, made of stone. And I guess that men should learn some stoicism, not necessarily to not have emotions, but men should learn some stoicism and subdual and control of emotions. The problem is that when men learn this, and emotions actually mean less to men, then we're told that we're not emotionally available. So we're already taken through the ringer back and forth. And this is this is something that goes on even in conservative cultures like the one in which I live. So there's not really a right thing for many men to do, which is why men have to be in control. You cannot put them at the mercy and the judgment of women, because there's no right thing for them to do. There isn't a right way for them to go. So that being said, that's why men here, even though the women here are better students and the women here are better workers, and I respect that about them where I live now. By the same token, when it comes down to family, I can tell you that the minute that these ladies have complete control, the family is over. Done with. I can tell you that that's going to be the case. Guaranteed. Because there's still not some right way for these men to go about anything. Not when it comes to the ladies. The father has to be involved when somebody comes to propose marriage to her. That is a necessity. Why is that? Because she's going to need some advice. You see, legally here, women cannot be forced to accept a proposal that they don't want, but they're going to need some advice to make the right decision, because we already know what they're choosing in societies in which dad don't have no kind of say-so. Men can rightly choose for themselves. Do you know when it is that men can't choose for themselves? In the West, the only time a man can't rightly choose for himself is when the right choices are not available because the men are no longer in control. That's what happens then. And that's why it was that I had arguments with my mother about the first lady I married. She said I should have chosen better. I agree with her. She was the wrong choice, but I had to tell my mother, Mom, you can't look back and say I should have chosen better, because the other choices were still far worse than she was. I mean, by comparison, she won out. What was I supposed to know? Was I actually supposed to think that there was something better and I'd never seen it? I never saw better till I left the United States. Actually, till I left the West. That's when I saw that it was out there. And you know, one of the things that makes them so much better, Mom, is the fact that even good ones can wind up single. The good ones can pass 25 years old, unmarried, and then stay unmarried now just because over 25. That's the check that balances everything out. Otherwise, I don't think they would be either. They tricked us in the West. And that's why First Lady I married, the American, didn't have to be any better than she was. And the others were worse. But since the others were worse, and a lot of men let them get away with it, eventually my wife was like, well, other women can act this way and they get away with it. I should be able to as well. I imagine that that's what wound up being the case. And I'll be honest, that's a case wherein the worst ones ruin the better one. But what I'm getting at here is that we men, because we've made one thing too easy, unfortunately, we're not allowed to make anything else difficult. I mean, we pretty much told the sisters, you got us by the nuts. And these are very important. So, we think with these. So even if we do stand up for ourselves, you don't have to respect that. And consequently, we're dealing with what we're dealing with. And so when some ugly men do fight back, it's not tolerated. Ugly men in the black community, as a matter of fact, normal looking men in the black community are treated badly. Let's be honest about that. So ugly men, how are they going to be treated? Really badly. And are they supposed to just not fight back? Who thinks this way? What kind of foolishness is that? They shouldn't fight back. For what? Why shouldn't they? So that being said, if you have been called ugly in the black community, if you've been treated like you're ugly, treated harshly, then you fight back and keep on doing it. As a matter of fact, if you are considered nice looking and yet you are disrespected, crap tested, any of that stuff, you're treated in any way, form, or fashion that you know they would not tolerate from you, then you fight back. You tolerate nothing, no matter how you look, black man. You tolerate nothing that they're not going to tolerate from you. End of. And as a matter of fact, if you're really quick with the tongue, because you got to be thick-skinned and quick-witted and sharp-tongued to psychologically survive in the black commroonity in America and Canada and the UK, and I'm sure in the English-speaking islands too, if you got that, then feel free to go in on somebody like C Boogie. Not because I hate him, I don't, but feel free to go in on somebody like C Boogie for one reason alone. He's still telling you that you should tolerate things that will not be tolerated from you, because you just ain't got no dime game. How stupid is that? I hope that this is a benefit, and I hope one day it's not even necessary anymore. Thanks for listening. Black heart, black mind, blackout, assalamu alaikum. And black heterosexual ugly male power, specifically because they don't like it.